What's up, people? Hold on. I'm trying to get my live life together. I'm trying to go live on a couple of platforms. Yeah, right here, right here, right here I am. What's up, guys? What's up, family? Okay, I'm on Facebook, and I need another lamp in here. This is dark. Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. What's up, family? All right. Wait a couple minutes to let some people get in here. While I do that, I'll talk about some other things. I will first thank you all. Let me thank you all for your wishes of condolences on the passing of my grandmother. Um, this is my father's mother. Um, those of you who know me know I lost my mother's mother, my maternal grandmother, a couple years ago. She was fabulous in 97, yes. My father's mother was only 88, and we fully expected her to live well into her 90s. So it was tough. It was tough not only because that week was a difficult week for me. Sorry, Instagram. How y'all doing, family? Let me wave to all of y'all. I love all of y'all. Um, what you probably didn't know, some of you, a handful of you did know. Well, my grandmother passed on Friday, but that Monday, my mom had her fourth stroke. It was a mini stroke, thank God. Um, but it was a stroke nonetheless. And, when you live with the reality that a stroke could take your mom out at any moment, the sign of it it's more than I can explain, it's more than I can express. Just having to go to that. And you see, I'm getting emotional already. Anyway, so she was hospitalized. She had lost all the function on her right side, was not able to walk. All of that was very, very scary. And, thinking about how we would live after that day. Luckily, they gave her some blood thinners, and she regained functionality on her right side, and she was able to walk out of the hospital. They did find two cerebral aneurysms in her head, which, an aneurysm anywhere in your body is not good, but in your aorta or in your brain, ooh, baby, right? So I'm dealing with that and being a caregiver for my mom. And then, my dad, when my grandmother passed, my dad happened to be in Spain. He actually is on vacation, living his best goddamn life. And so I went over to be with my aunt, who was alone. My grandmother passed peacefully in her sleep. And so I was able to be there with my aunt and make the arrangements with the funeral services. Shout out to Joanne Gilbert, those of you who know her from the Lewis funeral services. She worked very closely with Polly Lewis, who took care of a number of my family members over the course of my life. And so it was, having those relationships where you don't think you need to know a funeral director. It's really important to be able to call one up and say, hey, somebody died and they're here. Can you help me? And she was able to do that. So thank you all for your condolences. The services this week on Thursday, where we will be laying her to rest, father, in the military. And you called again. And so thank you to all my friends who know what they know how I am. When I'm dealing with stuff, I'm one of those people. I tend to go within, and I try to find my strength in inside, because it's seldom found outside of self. So okay, and now the world was falling apart. So much was happening, and was trying to tangentially be interested, because you all know that I am still teaching college. So in addition to trying to make sure that I am meeting the needs of my clients in my practice, I also am trying to make sure that my students are being responded to, because I can't ignore them, and not because the school pays me, but because it's important for me to be accessible to them. So when things get thick and I have to cut something off, it's typically these. Not because I don't love you all, but because it's difficult. Anyway, all right, God, I said all of that to say. I say all of that to say I'm here and I'm here and I'm still crazy. And thank you all for the condolences. Now let's get into the goddamn business at hand. Yesterday, I did. I know y'all didn't think I was gonna be a little less crazy today because I did my whole serious spiel and shit. No, okay. If you knew my grandmother who passed away, you know I got it honest. She was a whole ass sailor, and when I say that woman could curse, that's why when people tell me I really like to watch your lives, but you curse too much, I'll be like, that's too fucking bad. I love you, but I'm not gonna stop doing what I do. I got to be who I am. All right, so let's talk about it. R. Kelly was found guilty on all counts yesterday. He is facing life in prison. And some of you are mad. And I don't understand why y'all so fucking mad. What y'all mad about? I'm going to pay attention to some of the comments in a second, but first we're going to go over what exactly happened because a lot of you don't even fucking know. Y'all just mad. Y'all just think another black man down in the system, blah, blah, blah. Right? Well, that might not necessarily be the case. And I'm particularly annoyed with those of you who might be caping for this dude, right? Because I don't know about anybody caping for the women. I don't see anybody caping for the women. All I see is a lot of blame going around about these women. And I need to make sure that you all understand a couple things about the law, right? The first thing you need to understand about the law, right? And this applies to just about any statutory rape crime that I'm aware of, not just the ones in New York. These are strict liability crimes. Strict liability crimes. K. de jour, Brother Polite, is also charged with a strict liability crime. What does that mean, strict liability? That means that you strictly liable, just you, nobody else could be. You strictly liable? No, that's not what that means. That's not what that means. Strict liability means that what you knew at the time or what your intent was at the time is irrelevant when you committed the crime. Okay? Let me say that again. Strict liability, what it means is that your intent or your knowledge, your awareness, what you meant to do, right, is irrelevant. Doesn't matter, notafactor.com, right? When it comes to the crime you committed. So let me give you an example. So say you had sex with an underage girl, right? You didn't know she was underage. Not a defense. Okay, that means that's not a defense. When you go, yeah, I did have sex, but I didn't know she was under 18. Not a defense. You're going to jail. What else could you say? Well, she told me she was 18. Not a defense. You going to jail. She gave me a fake ID. Not a fucking defense. Okay? Doesn't matter. That's what strict liability means. Strict liability means that you are going to be liable for this no matter what. This is indefensible. You don't have a defense for that. And when it comes to having sex with minors, it's strict liability. It's indefensible. Okay? It doesn't, she consented. That's my favorite one. She consented. She knew what it was. She knew what it's going to be. I'm sorry. A minor cannot consent. A minor cannot consent, even if they say physically with their mouth, I want that dick daddy. Okay? Even if they say that out their mouth. The law does not view that or consider that consent, because when you're that age, you don't have the wherewithal, right? You don't have the mental capacity to consent. So everything that comes out your mouth is meaningless and jibber jab. Don't mean shit. Don't have no bearing. You can't enter a contract. You can't enter into a contract as a minor. You cannot consent to have sex. Sorry, can't do it. Can't do it. Thank you for the super chat, Aaron. I see a couple up there. I'm sorry, I do not mean to ignore the super chat. Let me get some love. Aaron, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I certainly do for the super chats. I appreciate everyone who's here. Let me shout out a couple people. I know sometimes y'all know I get into it. Latoya, expert layman, Denise Walker, Denise, are you Denise from my bodybuilding team, Denise? Is that Denise? I'm not sure. If not, still hi, Denise. Hey, Rue, that's my son's middle name. Hey, Rue. Stroke took my aunt's left. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm Yeah, them strokes are serious. Peace, Eric. Let me scroll down to the new comments. And we're gonna get to the parents in a second. Tony Johnson, how you doing? Dr. Johnson, how you doing? My fellow 40 Projects survivor success story. I love it. I love to see it. I love to see it. Lady D, we're gonna talk about their parents. We could talk about their parents, but here's what people need to stop doing. Stop making it seem like if someone else is culpable of a crime, that somehow makes you less culpable. It doesn't. It just makes both of y'all motherfuckers culpable. Do we need to stop for a second? Listen, even if you think that the parents gave up them kids, sold up them girls and boys, right? Or whatever the case may be, even if you think they had a hand, they was complicit, even if they should be under the jail, that does not mean that Kelly doesn't get to be under the jail too. All right. So even if I agree that on some circumstances that the parents had some culpability, that doesn't absolve R. Kelly for his culpability. It just doesn't. Now, there was a superseding indictment. Let's understand this is a racketeering case, right? RICO, racketeering, organized crime, basically, what they're saying is that R. Kelly engaged in a pattern of conduct. Understand what they're saying. This indictment wasn't just you fucking with some little girls. Not what they said. They didn't just say you fucking with some little girls. They said you have created an organization in which you have members charged with the task of obtaining underage girls for the purposes of engaging in illegal sex acts. Okay, it wasn't just something that happened once or twice. This, they said, has happened as early as the 90s. Now, why? How they charge him? Thank you, Vincent Purdy. I appreciate the super chat. How they gonna charge him with something that happened all the time ago? That was a long time ago. Ike, what about the statute of limitations? Doesn't that kick in? No. That is why they have the RICO statute. So they can reach back. Because the statute of limitation when it comes to these types of acts in RICO, right? The statute of limitation starts to run with the last act. Hold on. The statute of limitation starts to run with your last act. Okay? Right? So that shit happened in 1960, 70, 80. Course of conduct, behavior, you continue to engage in that behavior up until 2018. That's when the statute of limitations started to run. 2018, right? And so it's not an issue with statute of limitation. That's how they got Malachi York also. Okay? If you recall, some of those charges were hella old too. Right? Statute of limitation. In fact, I believe one of his lawyers at the time, part of his defense was these cases would be but for the RICO charges, but for the fact that this is a course of conduct crime, the statute of limitations would have kicked in and he wouldn't have been able to be charged. Okay, so yeah, statute of limitations did not save him because the federal government makes sure that they are allowed to include all of the fuck shit you have been doing up until this time. All right, so they got him all the way back when Aaliyah was 15. Now, let me just stop, pause, drop a pin. Aaliyah was 15 years old, part of the charges, right? So the indictment charged, there was one count racketeering. In that one count of racketeering, there were 14 what they call acts that support the racketeering that included different types of acts with different types of underage girls, right? There was Jane Doe 1, I believe, through 5. It may have been more. Jane Doe number 1 was Aaliyah, okay? Part of the charges included bribery, right? And things of that nature, which went to how they bribed a welfare official, I believe back in Chicago, to get Aaliyah an identification that says she was 18. Right? So he couldn't even go with the, I didn't know she was only 15. Yes, she did, because she tried to deliberately cover up the fact that she was underage. You was 27 at the time. You married her at 15 years old. I'm sorry, you can shut the door on this motherfucker right now. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just saying. Um, I'm not a fan of underage marriage. I'm just not, even though it is illegal in way too many states in this country with parental permission. It's a cold world. 211. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate Southside. We outside. We just like, that's right. We outside all day and we dislike predators. Yes, we do. We don't, because we know them. We seen them. I remember them. I remember every sexual predator from when I was a kid. I remember them. You remember them too. You remember the ones that you didn't feel too comfortable around, or you knew to avoid. Right? Come on. We gonna tell the truth and shame the devil? Are we? Aren't we? Are we? Or we gonna fuck around and act like this is not a problem in the black community? And we gonna act like that? Because I'm not about to act like that. I remember the grown ass men who used to chase behind either myself or some of my friends. I remember that. Okay, so it's not like it doesn't happen. Okay. His lawyer didn't even argue the point against somebody. Okay, so yeah. Now let me finish with the indictment. The indictment has the racketeering count. It also has Mann Act charges, which are taking a woman across state lines for the purposes of engaging in an illegal sex act. And what they said in the Mann Act was that you had taken, and I think that some of these women were grown women, across state lines for the purpose of engaging in sex when you had herpes. Okay, did y'all know that it was a crime here in New York? It's reckless endangerment for you to engage in sexual conduct when you know that you have a sexually transmitted disease and you don't disclose. Oh yeah, I was to tell you, I was breaking out like crazy distress, and I was like, I gotta take you on the side. You see this? This was so big. My face was like, so you want to be a unicorn? You said you wanted to be a unicorn. I was like, come on with this shit. Oh God. Nah, I gotta see my facialist, because you know what happens when you stress. Well, at least I'll tell you what happened. When I'm stressed, I eat shit I shouldn't eat, like chocolate. I should not eat chocolate. But it's so good. And then when I eat it, be like, you had chocolate, chocolate everywhere. Yeah, and so every time I look up, I see the zip. Right. Okay, so the Mann Act charges were for him transporting women across state lines. I say people because there were some boys that testified. They were males that testified that he had sexually abused them while they were underage. But transporting someone across state lines to have sex when you know you have sexually transmitted disease and you do not disclose, when you expose someone, even if they don't if they're not ultimately affected, the fact that you expose them without their knowledge and consent is reckless endangerment. Okay, so that was the charge. R. Kelly has herpes. Yeah, they had to demonstrate that, and then they had the doctor come testify, and they had a woman come testify. They had other women come testify. They had one woman who saved like a shirt or something that had a semen all over it. They had a DNA expert come testify. They had 50 witnesses come in. They had one video, because remember, part of his fetish is that he'd like to have these things recorded. And they had at least one audio, where they had a woman who was smearing feces on herself. That was part of, I guess, his eroticism, right? The peeing but feces was one too, right? And I'm sure that for some jurors, there is no woman who would consent to that. For some jurors, there are some. Now, there are a whole lot of people that are like, there are a lot of women that would do that. There are a lot of S&M women that are out there, blah, blah, blah. Just because there are women that enjoy it, just because there are women that do engage in it, just because there are women that will do it for money, does not mean that all women will. Okay? It does not mean that when a woman says she has been forced to, that she should be automatically disbelieved or discredited because some other woman will do something strange for a little fucking change. Come on. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, Steve Daly. Peace, Majestic Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Lady T. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. So now it's people outside the courthouse protesting. The fuck are you protesting for? I'm not understanding. These are the people who probably did not follow any of the trial, did not listen to any of the testimony, did not listen to any of the witnesses, do not even understand what the charges are. But y'all, no. What about all of the lives what about those women, those girls? All of them were not a part of this case. All of them, I think we maybe 5 to 7. Right? We're talking 20 years. 20 years. Okay, so there are a whole lot of women who didn't come forward. There are a whole lot of women whose stories are not being told. Unfortunately. So he was found guilty. All of the counts, very well, will be going to be facing some football numbers. More likely than not, I think the minimum is 10. I believe, I could be wrong. I believe that the minimum is 10, so I don't think he can get less than that. I don't think he's going to get the minimum. I don't think anybody would get the minimum in a case like this. And there also are a number of factors that can increase his criminal history points. For those of you who are familiar with sentencing in a federal system, and there may be one mitigating factor. And I think that there have been some stories that R. Kelly had been sexually abused as a child. That has always and will always be considered a mitigating factor when it comes to sentencing. Okay, when it comes to sentencing, not guilt or innocence. When it comes to sentencing, it's a mitigating factor, right? And so a court might reduce his sentence calculations, or the points might be reduced maybe 2 or 3 points because he has this kind of history, right? That might affect his ability to keep from engaging in this type of behavior, right? There are some psychologists who will talk about having prior abuse history and how that can motivate people to become abusers, right? And so I'm sure that that's going to have some type of a factor, but it's not going to be anything that's going to significantly reduce the prison time that he is facing. So yeah, R. Kelly is going to jail. I can't say that I'm mad about that. I did not see all of the trial. I can't say that he didn't get a fair trial. At least what's fair when I say that I can't predict that this case is going to be overturned. There's no prediction on that. So let me see if there's any questions or comments real quick before I get up out of here. I don't want to spend too much time on these videos because then you guys don't watch them. So I'm going to go through these here real quick and see if there's anything in here. So now we trying cases in the media. We always try cases in the media, God. That's Majestic Allah. Wait, can I show you? Let me see. I could show some comments. I know how to do that. I can't show them down on my Instagram. I'm sorry. Now we try cases in the media. That's scary. We always try cases in the media. King is called the court of public opinion, right? We always do. We always have. A lot of times people go to the media because they want to influence the jury pool, right? Life is 25. He's definitely getting life. He's definitely going to get at least 25 years. Angel Eyes 33. I think he's definitely getting that. R. Kelly should have been locked up. He was. My thing is, why didn't all the people who helped him get locked up too? They might. They got to get the top guy first. You can't say there was an enterprise with the enterprise creator walking around not having been convicted of anything. It's going to make it a lot easier for them to go after other people. Some people testified against him. They may have gotten deals, right? Even if they did it reluctantly. So that's possible. Oh, I see. Kim, that's you. What's up, Southside? We outside. I had a sneaking suspicion that was you. True Fist of the North. Do you think Polite would get football numbers? um, yes. If Polite is convicted, I do believe he will get football numbers. I absolutely do. And the thing about Polite's case is really going to come down to whether or not the victim can stand her ground, whether or not she'll be too afraid to go forward with that case, in a year, because that's usually how long it takes before a case actually will get to trial. So hope he learned how to read. You stupid! I didn't mean to show that. The black man stands no chance at all. Jessica Law, that's not true. I can tell you of a number of cases that I actually walked out with my client, murder charge, all kinds of charges. So that's not true. Do we have a harder fight? It's more difficult for the black man? Absolutely. Is there a perception that you are already guilty? Hell yeah. Does that mean that you need to hire a lawyer who understands those perceptions? Does that mean you need to hire a lawyer who understands what implicit bias looks like? My nose is always sweating. Yes, that's what that means. When you understand what we're facing, then you govern yourself accordingly. That means you don't walk into the room with someone who doesn't understand the realities, right? The realities of being in a trial, what the optics look like. You can't have your fucking chair way over there and have your back to me, defense attorney. You can't do that. The jury is going to see you do that shit. And guess what? They're going to think I'm a piece of shit. You won't even sit next to me. You don't even want to talk to me. Optics. Little shit like that. I'm telling you, it's little shit like that. When the client comes out from the back and they're sitting with you at the table and you can't stand to be next to them, you think a jury's not going to see that? You think the jury's not going to notice that you aren't working with that client? You aren't talking to that client? That client is not participating in their own defense? Fuck out of here. I'll make my clients. But listen, you going to take this pen and pad. You better write some shit down. You better act like you interested. You better do something. Because they looking. I'll try to share a pen or a piece of gum or something, whatever the court officer that's sitting behind me will allow me to do, that will try to humanize my client. Maybe I could give him a mint or something, little shit like that, so that the jury knows that this person is a human being. A human being. Worldwide. You're welcome, King. You're welcome. Thank you. I love you. I really do. Who is the next black people? What? Who is the next black people? Cuba Gooding Jr. I don't know what's going on with Cuba. He better hire the right folks. All right, I'm gonna get up off this piece. I said enough. I'm come back on the polite stuff. I just, you think I get upset when I'm talking about this shit? Like, I don't know R. Kelly like that. I wasn't on his ass for years. I didn't warn y'all about him already. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different when it comes to polite. I can't stand that guy. I really can't stand him. Good question. Real factor. B factor. Will we be able to separate the music from the men? I think that's a personal choice. That's a personal choice, because there are some songs like what is the one? Your mind's telling me no, but your body. Ones where he's talking about young girls. You're ready. Seems like you're ready. Like, I don't know if I can listen to that with the same ear that I had prior to this, right? And I think that's where it comes in. Thank you, Aaron. I think that's the problem. Like, I don't know. I can't. When even listening to Aaliyah, like, age ain't nothing but a number. It's different now. I got a different perspective. It's not the same. I kind of don't want to sing that. Like, so I think it's an individual question. Just like the vaccine, it's a personal choice. So Kim, somebody needs to make an Akeisha doll. Why? So they can stick it? No, I don't. No dolls. No dolls. I don't. No, please. Thank you. Thank you. Right, Tony. The age ain't but nothing but a number. There's another one I can't. It's sticking in my head, but I just for some reason I can't. It won't come. But those are the songs like when you know that he was engaging in this behavior at that time. It makes it a little difficult to listen to those songs. You know, with that knowledge. What did Belle Biv DeVoe do? Keep Sweat too? Look, I don't know. Y'all stop. Y'all stop. Y'all gotta stop. Oh God. All right. I gotta get back to work because I'm saying serious catch up since I've been out. I gotta take my laptop over to the Geek Squad because it is doing its own thing. So I will be back tomorrow because I want to talk about Brian Landry, whatever the fuck his name is. And I don't want to talk about the white victim syndrome. I want to talk about white suspect syndrome. That's what I want to talk about. Because if Brian was black, Gabby would be alive. That's all I'm going to say about that. If Brian was a black dude, you know, Gabby be alive because he'd have been in jail when they got stopped the first fucking time. Okay? The first time. You got scratches on your face? Oh, come here, white girl. Sit over there. You come over here, Brian. We're going to need to have a couple of words with you. They wouldn't have let him go so he could continue with the fuck shit. And now she's missing. If Brian was a black guy, Brian wouldn't be missing. Brian be in jail. You know why? Because when the police are looking for black people and they think you even remotely involved, they come and fucking get you at your house. They bring you in for bullshit like questioning. That's not a fucking thing. That's not a thing. Oh, in the black community is a thing. But you saw that wasn't a fucking thing when it came down to Brian, right? Brian Landry, when the police, we like to talk to you, he's like, you call my lawyer. Get the fuck out of here with that. And what did they do? They got the fuck out of there. And guess what he did? He got up and got himself out of there. Oh, yeah, tomorrow we gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about that bullshit. And we're gonna talk about a few more things. I'm back. Goddamn, I'm back. So let's do it. All right, I'm up out of here now. I love you. I really do. If there's something you want me to talk about, I did get a message in my Instagram. I owe somebody a conversation about the dollar bill. A young man died in Rikers. That'll be on deck this week as well. There is a video about dollar bills in the July series. So if you haven't seen that, you might want to go back and see that so you can have an understanding about dollar bills. But that'll be this week. We'll talk about that as well. All right, family, I got to get out of here. All right. I love y'all. I really do. I'll come back and see if I can look in the comments if I can. If I missed some questions, I'm sure I missed a whole lot of them. I'll see what I can do. All right. Y'all be good. Have a good week. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. I love you. I really do. Ike speaks. Peace.